Ladies and gentlemen, the Gears of War E-Day beta just wrapped up. Whoa! Boy, did I slam a lot of hours into that thing. For a little bit of context, Gears of War is probably one of my most favorite series of video games, and like for Gears of War 3, Gears of War 4, I was heavy into the multiplayer. So this time around playing the E-Day beta, it was awesome to see a return to form for the series. I felt like the tone and the atmosphere of everything that I was playing, the PvP and the Horde mode, was really on point with Gears of War. Today's video is really just a hype video, man. I am so excited for Gears E-Day. I have been since the announcement trailer, and even the beta, they knocked it out of the park with this. There's a lot of bugs and glitches, nothing too crazy, but things that they definitely got to work through, and we'll talk about it. But nonetheless, it's honestly just a whole lot of fun, and if you didn't play it, that sucks.
Sucks to be them.
October can't come soon enough, man. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and cover the PvP mode a little bit, the Horde mode a little bit, the UI, and just my general thoughts, and some small critiques here and there, but really nothing crazy. I had a blast with everything that was there. So let's just get right into it. Starting off with PvP, we had Outpost and Market, the two maps that were available for the beta. Both were pretty awesome, honestly. Like, they were just really good PvP maps. I had no complaints. I liked the little parts in Outpost that you can like kind of jump across. Thought that was pretty cool. The game modes, TDM and Conquest. Conquest was so much fun, man. That's kind of the game mode that I'm more used to with Gears of War, like King of the Hill. And for me in Gears of War 4, I was a big sweat in Escalation. So when this game comes out, I'll be playing a lot of this. I'll be playing a lot of Ranked. Speaking of Ranked, I got Gold 3 Tier B. I just did the placement matches, had some really good matches, and just kind of sat with whatever it gave me. Man, I cannot wait to play more of it when the game comes out. The new weapons are pretty cool. We had the Striga, which I don't have footage of, but it was like a burst pistol, kind of like the Gorgon pistol, but it was more like a hold to charge thing. I had it for maybe about a minute. It was a lot of fun to use for sure. Can't wait to see more of that pistol. There was the Gut Puncher, which I will show right here. I did not get to use it very much, but I could see it having its place and being really good. Also, the Ripper. I don't know if that was in the game before. I remember Gears 5 had a similar gun called the Claw, where the longer you shot, the more accurate it would get over time. The Ripper was a lot of fun. It was kind of like the go-to weapon for Horde mode, I thought. Like, especially when you got extended mags and stuff on it. We'll get more into Horde in a little bit. The Breach Shot returned, which was awesome. We haven't seen that since Judgment, and the Breach Shot was such a cool weapon in Judgment. I'm so glad it's back. I love the little bayonet it has, almost like an axe. Yeah, super cool weapons. The Incinerator was a lot of fun too. I wish I got footage of me cleaning house with it, but this is basically all I got. But the Incinerator was by far the best new weapon, I thought anyways. Then again, I didn't really get to use the Gut Punch all that much, and I'm sure there's other new weapons that we didn't get to see yet. Regardless, Incinerator, super cool. Sprinting is honestly super cool in this game. I'm glad roadie running's gone. I mean, it's not that like I'm glad it's gone, but it's kind of refreshing to see sprinting, I guess, rather than roadie running. However, there is a few concerns I have with sprinting. I'm not sure if it's just because of sprinting or what, but there's two big things, and I wish I got footage of the first one, but basically, when you're playing PvP, a lot of the times in the game, you'll be on one side of cover, there'll be an enemy on the opposite side of your cover, and yeah, you guys might be poking over the cover trying to shoot at each other, but eventually, one of you is going to make the push to kind of like pop out of the corner and shoot with the Gnasher. Sometimes I found it to be a little inconsistent, where you'd pop out and just immediately churn into a sprint, which would just be a free kill for the enemy. It didn't happen every time, but sometimes it did, and it was just really weird, I guess. I don't know. Other times with sprinting, it would seem like getting to use your gun was like a full like 1 to 2 second cooldown after sprinting, which if you ran into some enemies and you got your gun in your hand, you can't like press the fire button for some reason. I don't know. It was a little frustrating, but it didn't happen very often. It is a beta at the end of the day, and these are the types of things that I figure will be fixed by the time launch comes around, or so I hope. And we're also like 6 Gears games in now, and I mean, not that this was at all a negative thing for me. It's still very much a Gnasher game, so if that's something that you're kind of pissed about, I mean, oh well, it's just always been a Gnasher game. But they did kind of tweak the Lancer a little bit during the closed beta, and I do notice a lot more people using the Lancer at range, so that's kind of nice, just refreshing to keep the game pace different. Again, at the end of the day, it's Gears, it's going to be a Gnasher game. Wall bouncing is, I think, completely gone, which is honestly good. It's good. I played the shit out of Gears of War 3 and Gears of War 4, and I did play quite a bit of 5, and yeah, obviously I use wall bouncing. If you're going to play PvP and be decent at it, you kind of have to. But I also just, there was something about it. It was one of those things that you kind of had to conform to. I didn't want to do it, but you kind of had to get good. Yeah, it can be kind of satisfying at times doing it, but at the end of the day, Gears obviously doesn't need it, and I think this game shows that. Unless I'm just really bad at the game and it's still in the game. I was able to go like one cover to one cover, but no more than that. I think the game just doesn't really allow for it. I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. Like, let me know in the comments if you guys are totally able to wall bounce. I'm not. And, I mean, I used to be good at the game. I also didn't know where else to put it, but this is probably my best play during the beta. Yeah. Eat shit. Look, Dom, no face. Moving on from PvP, I want to talk a bit more about the UI and like the menus of this game. Now, there's not a whole lot for me to go over with the UI, to be totally honest, except for the fact that I loved it. I thought the atmosphere, the music, the tone, and everything that is going on with this game is just like chef's kiss. I should have said this during the PvP portion, but the music in between like deaths and PvP, the music that plays in the main menu, and just everything, like I think they hit like the tone very well with this game so far. There obviously is just a little bit of like UI glitches and bugs, which I mean, I didn't catch everything, but I'll probably show some footage here. Just some, like, at least on PC, like certain things where if you like look into like the guns or like characters, you can't like rotate them or zoom in, and I think the zooming in thing just isn't there at all, but the rotating is there and it just doesn't work sometimes. Just navigating some menus sometimes just doesn't work. For what's there and for what it's supposed to be, like, I could see what it's supposed to be, and it's very good. And again, these are things that, again, I imagine will be cleaned up by the time the game comes out. One last thing I want to point out for the UI is I noticed in the menu you can actually change like the menu music. So far, obviously in the beta, there's not much, but you can change it to Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls, the instrumental. If they're gonna do that, obviously whatever songs that they choose to add just kind of have to fit the aesthetic for Gears, though. I mean, like, obviously Metallica, kind of like heavy, like that song in particular is just probably a really good candidate for sure. But in the future, obviously I'm excited to see what other songs they will add for the menu, but even their default song is just perfect. So yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. So now I want to talk about the big boy of today's video, and that's Horde mode, baby. So this time around in the beta, we were given one Horde map, which I know how that sounds, but bear with me. At launch, they're going to give us 3 maps, which, I know, bear with me. This map is massive, and it's meant to house 12 players broken up into 3 squads of 4. All of which, by the way, are doing their own missions across the map. It's pretty cool playing with 11 other players and 2 other squads, because anytime that you're running around the map, if you come across that other squad, whoever you're playing as, whether it be Dom, Marcus, whoever, will be like, oh, Anvil squad's here. So you can either stick around, help revive people, and help them with the enemies, or just, you know, bugger off and go do your own thing. There was too many moments, though, where the 12 player thing just didn't really like align very well, where it was almost like sometimes you somehow didn't see the other squads. But I will show you my favorite video from the entire beta, and I think this is what TC was trying to encapsulate with this game mode, because this moment was pandemonium. Fucking E-hole just pops up in the middle of the battle. Like, it was just crazy. This was just insane. It was so much fun, just so random, and I don't even know how we all linked up. This just kind of like happened. It was just awesome. So moving on a little bit, they did keep with the theme from like Gears 4, I believe is when it was introduced, but we have classes and loadouts and whatnot. I played the Assault class, and I wasn't the biggest fan of its ultimate ability. I kind of wish that maybe like some point down the line, maybe like there's like a few different ults you can have that you can swap out between just to keep things a bit fresh. I mean, otherwise you can upgrade your ults. The higher level you are, you can throw different upgrades on your ults. You can kit out all of your weapons with attachments and stuff, which is brand new to the franchise. This is a lot of like new and exciting changes to the Gears of War formula, which I'm totally here for. It is super cool to add extended ammo on weapons like the Retro or the Lancer Mark 1. Stuff like that is just super cool, and I can't wait to see the full extent of it when the game comes out. It does seem, however, that Medic is just the way to go. I don't know why I didn't pick Medic. I usually do, but like I said, I only kitted out the Assault class. That's all I really had time for. But yeah, so Medic was, from what I understand, really, really good. The Close Quarters class was not so good. I saw a lot of complaints about the Gnasher. I used the Gnasher a little bit for Horde, but yeah, it definitely needs a bit of a rework. Not a rework is a pretty extensive word, but it needs some help. It needs a bit of a buff for Horde. And on that same note, so does the Lancer Mark 1. I didn't find it to be very powerful. It didn't really have that oomph that it had in like Gears 3 or 4. You could argue that it was just flat out broken in Gears of War 3, but still, this is definitely the weakest we've seen the Retro Lancer, I feel like, in PvE. I could be wrong, but yeah. You're better off using just like a normal Lancer, in my opinion. Maybe I just didn't have the correct synergy, like attachments and stuff equipped. I don't know. The new and returning enemies were also cool too. Like there's like this weird frog that just like leaps and like spits vomit balls at you that are acidic, obviously. That enemy was super cool. The boomer and the grinders can be a bit tanky at times. I don't know. Like obviously there's mutations and modifiers that happen, but sometimes I just feel like the boomers and grinders just have way too much health, and they sometimes come in like 4s, and it's just like pretty overwhelming for sure. The grinder's never gonna reach the status that it had in Gears 2, I think it was, with the bucket head. Just classic, man. I love the grinder in Gears 2. There's also now, I don't even know what to call it, but like a grinder enemy that has what's called the gore hook, which is just a really freaking cool new heavy weapon. And basically what it does is if you get too close to that grinder or whatever, it's basically just a death sentence, because this gore hook just will immediately, it just like launches, it's like a hook shot that launches into you and then just gores you, right? So it's a wicked weapon. If you are the one to get it, it like 2-shots grinders and boomers on infantry difficulty, which is awesome. I was only able to play normal Horde one time with my buddy, and let me tell you, it was unforgiving. We booted in obviously with a full squad, and the full squad, the other two left right away, so it was just me and my buddy. I don't know what the plan is with this Horde mode, because we had basically the other two squads that were playing on the map. They both seemed like they were doing Horde together somehow. Like they were all like in one area on the map together. But mine and my buddy's objective was like our Horde 10 waves was on one side where they couldn't help us. And yeah, like I said, when the other two left our squad and we were just left with 2 computers, it was ruthless, man. Not to mention, I kind of thought that like the normal Horde was just very like sporadic. Like I couldn't, like, I think it was every 2 waves was a boss wave or something. I couldn't really tell when the boss waves were going to happen. Wave 10 was really anticlimactic. It was just like a big rush of like grinders, boomers, and lots of enemies, and there wasn't really a big boss, I guess, which was like, I kind of thought a corpser or something was going to appear. I totally missed fortifications. I'm not the biggest fan of your grenade item being your fortification. I just miss being able to throw down barricades and all this. I know you can, again, like with your grenades, but like, is there like a cap on it? Like, can I throw down infinite spike? I don't know. I just miss the way that it used to be in terms of that. Otherwise, what is here is super fun, though, I will say. There's a couple weird glitches and this and that, but like we had a grinder at one point just like walk off and try to go fight the other squad, so we had to like sprint way away from our Horde objective, go kill the grinder real quick, come back. Yeah, I don't know. We only got to play it once, and it wasn't even with a full team, so I don't know. Don't really have too many thoughts on it. I don't want to be too harsh on it just because I didn't get to play it very much. One other thing I'll add for that normal Horde, as far as I remember, you boot into the map as per usual with Horde Siege, and you could go do side quests, or you could just start the main thing right away. But the question is, why would you start the main thing right away when the side quests will give you weapon parts and they'll give you squad perks and stuff like that? Because when you start the main objective, there is no pausing that main objective until all 10 waves are done. So you either, middle of the wave, go out and risk doing something else, like grabbing a supply drop or something, and then your fabricator, whatever it's called, gets destroyed, or you do that side stuff right away. But if you're playing with randoms, and you know, you don't really get that kind of freedom of choice anymore. I don't know what the answer is to that. Like maybe you can like pause waves, maybe if they make it so you can like do wave 1, pause, go do something, but then that kind of just defeats the tension of, you know, like setting up. You only got 30 seconds to the next wave, you know, stuff like that. So I don't know what the answer is for that. Like maybe they could also make it so squad perks for normal Horde are given through like challenges during the wave or completing a wave fast, stuff like that. Because again, I just don't think side missions while you're also doing Horde really makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna flip-flop now back to Horde Siege and talk about the invasion events, which if you're unfamiliar, there are 2 invasion events that can happen as of right now, and that is a Brumach and a Corpser. Both things are super freaking cool, especially when all of the squads on the map converge and like help to take it down. It's just a blast. It's happened to me a few times, Corpser and Brumach. It was so much fun, and I love that kind of feeling of everybody getting together. Again, I think that's kind of what the whole point was with the 12 players on the map, which is kind of weird because, again, everyone's separated on Horde Siege doing their own missions, but it's the most fun when everyone converges and just does something together. It's just so much fun.
The Brumac threat is neutralized. Color me impressed.
Scavenge what you can before we head out.
The random, like, events that happen, like supply drops and weapon part drops and stuff like that, are super awesome, except the supply drops, I can see people getting to a high enough level where the weapons inside are kind of useless to them. Sometimes you get some good weapons though, like I got the incinerator out of there and like the breach shot with a bunch of attachments, but other times you'll get like the ripper with a bunch of attachments, which again, I was using assault class, so eventually I even got to the point where my ripper was better than what I saw in the supply drop, so now a bit of the supply drop is kind of pointless to me. Granted, it does have good equipment from time to time, like machine turrets and stuff like that. It's just, I could see the weapons getting outclassed by whatever you have in your own loadout. And so for Horde Siege, the way it works is basically you boot into the map, you have some main missions to do, and there's also some side missions that are sprinkled in there with it. The main missions are kind of run-of-the-mill sort of thing. Like there's a good smattering of them, which keeps things fresh, but it'll basically be like, hold down this area for like 3 minutes, and while like E-holes pop out all around you, and you gotta like just defend from like horde after horde. They'll be like defend the fabricator thing, bring the battery to the fabricator, survive like 5 waves of this. That's like the extent of the main missions. Then the side missions though, the side missions are where it's at though, because when you do the side missions, you get something called weapon parts, which are used for your loadouts at the main menu after the mission, after you exfiltrate. So when you exfiltrate, depending on how many side quests you did, you have like a big group of weapon parts, and then you can unlock attachments for your Lancer or whatever you're using, and that's awesome. Again, the whole attachment thing, that's super cool. Just a really cool addition to the Gears of War formula. But after these missions are complete, you exfiltrate, and what that is basically you go to like a point of the map where a King Raven will come down and pick you guys up. I think this part just needs a bit of tweaking. It's kind of anticlimactic when you get into the King Raven, and you get to use the Vulcan turrets. Like, there's 4 of you guys. I think, like, yeah, each one gets a turret. But, like, usually there's nothing to shoot. Like, you'll clean up, like, maybe there's a grinder in front of you, and you'll clean him up. But it would be so cool if the King Raven maybe, like, circled around the map a little bit, and you can kind of, like, help out with whatever squads are still down there. That would be pretty cool, just to kind of help sweep up the enemies. All in all, Horde is looking to be super fun. I guess, like, my biggest thoughts, again, are I miss the fortifications being kind of like they were in Gears 3 and Gears 4 and whatnot, where you would just like throw down barriers and whatnot. Maybe if they flesh out the whole equipment idea, it's just, it doesn't sit right with me that your grenade slot is also your reinforcement slot. It's cool. Like, I like that spike trap. I thought that was super cool. But yeah, like, there's just something missing about the fortifications, I find. And that's really my biggest issue with it, honestly. There is also the fact that regular Horde is like a 10 wave thing, which might just be a beta thing, I'm not sure, but even in those 10 waves, it was just very confusing where the boss rounds were going to happen, whereas, you know, when you do the whole 50 thing, every 10 waves is the boss. Otherwise, Horde Siege and Horde mode, it's a blast as you would expect it to be. It's a lot of fun. We'll see what it looks like when the game comes out. So lastly, I just want to talk about the negatives of the game.
Fuck you.
And there's not a lot of them, really, there's not, but there's some big ones in there. I'm going to take a guess and say that you probably noticed the same thing that I did in your first couple PvP matches, and that is the lack of chainsaw duels. Now, I saw rumors that people were saying chainsaw duels were turned off for the beta, and if that's the case, my question is why? Wouldn't this be the perfect time to test the duels and just work out the kinks and the bugs and whatnot? This is a little bit worrying because that just tells me it won't be there for launch, and on top of things that won't be there for launch, there's things like grenade tagging. You can't like tag people with grenade, you can't tag walls with grenades, no meat shield, which I honestly that's one of the things in my head when you say, hey, have you ever played Gears of War before? Besides the Lancer, the chainsaw, I'm thinking about a meat shield, I'm thinking about grenade tagging, you know, all the stuff that's missing is like some of the core things that I think of when you say Gears of War. There's no bull talk as of right now, which, I mean, we actually don't really know. That's something that maybe might just be in the game and it wasn't in the beta. So, I don't know, man. Hopefully it's there. I hope it's there. I don't know if it was just bugged or if it just wasn't working, but there was no like mantle kicking the enemy across the cover from you. You would just kind of like go through them all weirdly. That had to have been a glitch. I'm not sure. Hopefully it's there at launch. that was something that they added in Gears 4, and it was just honestly one of those really good things that they added to the Gears formula. Trading weapons is also gone, which that's a nitpick. That's a total nitpick. You can simply just like hold your weapon button and drop your weapon for somebody, but I kind of miss like the charm of walking up to someone and going like, hey, you know? I don't know. So it would be cool if they implemented that button back. Again, that's just a nitpick though. So one of the other bigger things, I guess, is they confirmed that launch will have 6 PvP maps and 3 PvE maps. Now, this isn't necessarily negative.
Nice!
It is for PvP though. PvE, like again, Horde is so big this time around, like the mode itself is just so big that I think 3 maps is going to be pretty sufficient, at least for a little while. And also, the Gears of War Twitter did just drop this picture the other day. This was going to be another complaint that I had, but the invasions that happen in Horde, you have the Brumach and the Corpser, and which are awesome, but just the Brumach and Corpser, what else is there? This picture confirms that there will be more invasion events, so that's awesome. But 6 PvP maps is not going to be good, let me tell you. It won't be too bad, but I'm really hoping for maybe a couple more added before the end of the year, I guess. And the game's not even out yet, man. I'm talking like this, kind of crazy, but that's just the truth. Like 6 maps is just not very much for PvP. All in all, I just really hope that the Coalition doesn't make the same mistake that we saw like Halo Infinite make during its beta, where they kind of just showed all of its cards in the beta, you know what I mean? Like, it's never a good feeling to play a beta of a game and then you're thinking, I can't wait to see what else there is. And then the game releases and you're like, that was it. I mean, obviously we got maps that we haven't played yet, and I'm assuming there's weapons and stuff that we haven't used yet. But like I said, I hope that they didn't make that mistake, because that would definitely be a bummer for sure. All in all, I had a fucking blast playing the Gears of War E-Day beta. I played the closed beta, the open beta. I'm seriously just loving this game. It just seems like a return to form. The tone, the atmosphere, everything about it just feels like Gears again. I'm so excited to see what the Coalition has in store for us in October. But otherwise, that's it, man.
Nice.
But what did you think? Did you get to play the Gears of War E-Day beta? Will you be buying the game in October? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And this time, this is Delta Squad signing out. Till October. Ah, you fucked up my tomatoes, asshole.